We often think of manipulation as something obvious, someone yelling, lying, or trying to control you directly. But the most dangerous manipulation tactics aren't loud, they're subtle. They come wrapped in charm, guilt, love, or even silence. They make you question your feelings, your memories, and eventually, your self-worth. You might not even realize it's happening until you're emotionally drained, full of self-doubt, and constantly apologizing for things that aren't your fault. In this video, we will talk about 5 of the most common manipulation tactics that seem harmless at first glance but can destroy you from the inside out. If you recognize any of these, it's not your fault. Awareness is the first step toward healing. Number 1 is gaslighting. It is one of the most emotionally abusive tactics, and yet it's also one of the hardest to detect, especially when it's coming from someone you care about. It often starts with simple phrases like, "You're overreacting," or "That never happened," or "You always make things up." In the moment, you might question yourself. You might think, maybe I am being dramatic. Maybe I do remember it wrong. And that's exactly how gaslighting works. It's not about one disagreement or misunderstanding. It's a pattern. Slowly, it erodes your sense of reality. You begin to question your memories, your emotions, even your instincts. You feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to speak up because you're unsure of what's real anymore. The most dangerous part is it's often done by someone you love, a partner, a parent, a friend. They twist facts, rewrite history, and make you feel like the crazy one. But you're not crazy. You're being manipulated into believing their version of events so they can maintain control. Recognizing gaslighting is painful because it means admitting someone close to you doesn't respect your reality, but calling it out, even silently to yourself, is a powerful act of reclaiming your mind. Number 2 is guilt tripping. We've all experienced guilt. It's a normal human emotion, but guilt tripping is different. It's manufactured guilt. It's when someone makes you feel bad for doing something reasonable or for having your own boundaries. You might hear things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me?" Or "You're so selfish. You can't do this one small thing." It often comes wrapped in a tone of disappointment or emotional pain, so it feels justified. But it's not. It's manipulation, plain and simple. The goal is to make you feel like a bad person, not because you did something wrong, but because you didn't do exactly what they wanted. Guilt trippers prey on your empathy. They know you don't want to hurt people. They use your kindness against you. This tactic is especially common in toxic family dynamics and codependent relationships. You start believing that love means sacrifice, that to be good you must always say yes. But real love doesn't demand guilt, it respects boundaries. If someone truly cared for you, they wouldn't need to manipulate your emotions to get their way. You're allowed to say no without guilt. You're allowed to put yourself first without apology. Number 3 is love bombing. At first, love bombing feels like a dream. They're showering you with attention, compliments, affection, and promises of forever. It feels intense, romantic, almost too good to be true. And that's because it is. Love bombing is not real love. It's a manipulation tactic meant to pull you in fast and deep. The person doing it wants your trust, your vulnerability, and your loyalty, and they want it now. So they overwhelm you with affection to lower your defenses. They want you to feel like you found the one, because once you're hooked, they can begin to shift the dynamic in their favor. After the high of love bombing, things change. The compliments stop, the affection fades, suddenly they're cold, distant, or even critical. And you're left wondering what went wrong. So you try harder. You chase that initial feeling, thinking, if I can just get back to how it was in the beginning, but that was never real. It was bait. Love bombing isn't love. It's manipulation disguised as romance. Real love grows slowly. It builds over time. It respects your pace, your boundaries, your individuality. Someone is trying to rush you into intense emotional closeness right away. Be cautious. The faster they move, the harder they tend to fall into control once they've got you. Number 4 is silent treatment. Silence can be peaceful when it's mutual, but when used as a weapon, the silent treatment becomes one of the most painful and effective manipulation tactics out there. Why? Because it punishes you without a word. Maybe you said something they didn't like, or maybe you set a boundary. Instead of communicating like an adult, they just disappear. No texts, no calls, no eye contact. They act like you don't exist, and the longer it goes on, the more anxious you become. You start racking your brain trying to figure out what you did wrong. You blame yourself. You apologize even when you're not sure what you're apologizing for. That's the goal. The silent treatment is meant to make you feel unworthy and desperate. It's emotional starvation, pulling away love, attention, and connection until you give in. It creates a power imbalance where the manipulator becomes the judge and you become the desperate pleaser. In a healthy relationship, silence is never used as punishment. Disagreements happen, but they're discussed. If someone regularly uses silence to control, punish, or manipulate you, it's not a healthy connection. It's a toxic cycle that chips away at your self-worth. Number 5 is playing the victim. One of the most frustrating manipulation tactics is when someone constantly plays the victim, even when they're the one causing harm. No matter what they do, somehow you're the bad guy. You confront them about something hurtful, and suddenly they're crying. They're the wounded one. They tell you how hard their life is, how misunderstood good they feel, how they never meant to hurt you. At first, it's confusing. You might even feel guilty. You back off, thinking, maybe I was too harsh. They've been through a lot. But over time, you realize every conflict ends with you comforting them. Every issue you raise gets flipped back on you. It's exhausting. This tactic is designed to avoid accountability. Instead of taking responsibility, they distract from their behavior by making themselves the center of the emotional storm. They turn your pain into their performance. And the result? You stop bringing up issues. You stop expressing your needs. You learn to stay quiet just to keep the peace. But here's the truth. Someone who truly cares about you doesn't weaponize their pain to escape responsibility. They try to do better. Playing the victim might look like vulnerability, but when it's used to manipulate others, it's just another way to stay in control. Number 6 is triangulation. This is when someone brings a third person into the mix to validate their side or make you doubt yours. Let's say you argue with your partner, and suddenly they say, even my sister thinks you're overreacting. Whether it's true or not, the mention of someone else makes you feel isolated and ganged up on. The goal? To make you doubt your feelings and feel outnumbered. Number 7 is projection. Manipulators love to throw their issues onto you. If they're the one being dishonest, they accuse you of hiding something, or if they're insecure, they'll say you're needy or clingy. It's a mind game, because suddenly you're defending yourself against something you didn't do, while they avoid accountability for their own flaws. Number 8 is future faking. This one is especially sneaky in romantic relationships. They promise a dream future to keep you around. We'll get married, I'll change, once I get this job, we'll be happy. But the future never comes. It's just a carrot on a stick, keeping you invested in someone who never actually follows through. Number 9 is gaslighting by proxy, a more advanced form of gaslighting. This is when the manipulator gets others to gaslight you too. Maybe your partner tells your friends you've been paranoid or dramatic, and now they start treating you like you're unstable. You feel cornered, unheard, and totally alone. Number 10 is minimizing. This tactic downplays your pain. You share how something hurt you, and they say, it wasn't that bad, or you're blowing it out of proportion. It's invalidating and dismissive, and over time, it teaches you to silence yourself before you're even heard. Manipulation isn't always obvious. Sometimes it shows up quietly. It hides behind a joke, a compliment, or even a well-timed apology. It can look like love, concern, or sacrifice, but underneath, it's a way for someone to control you without making it obvious. Whether it's gaslighting, guilt-tripping, love-bombing, silent treatment, or playing the victim, each tactic slowly chips away at your self-esteem. You begin to second-guess yourself. You start wondering if you're too sensitive or always overreacting. But the truth is, you're not. You're waking up. You're starting to see what's really happening. And once you start recognizing the patterns, it all begins to make sense. You realize it wasn't your fault. You weren't the problem. They just needed you to believe that so they could stay in control. Real love doesn't confuse you. It doesn't leave you feeling small or unsure. Real love brings peace, clarity, and respect. It allows you to be yourself without fear. And if you enjoyed diving deep into this masterpiece, make sure you hit the like button. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.